Hi,
Enjoy.
hi, PyCon Lithuania 2025 again. It's my third presentation during this conference. Please visit my first presentation about investing tool and Python. I want to talk about workflow orchestration platform. No worries, I will share my slides with you. You don't need to take all photos, all slides. And we will play again in fake slide game. Maybe you know about this game because I'm Ukrainian. I have Ukrainian snacks from my native city Dnipro for you and traditional modern Ukrainian drink, but please remember to make it super cold before to drink. So when you will find fake slide on my pitch deck, it's absolutely fake and mess. It's like sugar-free candy, as fake as sugar-free candy. You will see immediately, and you need to shout fake. So let's test. 1, 2, 3, fake. Exactly, like this one. And my timekeeper will help me deliver a drink to you. So let's start. Yep, I will explain the problem, why we need solutions like Temporal or Uber Cadence, for example, or Retool. Next, I will introduce Temporal workflow orchestration platform. We will check weekly architecture just to understand responsibilities of cluster, responsibility of overcare, our responsibility or responsibility of temporal cloud, for example. And also we will talk about differences between workflows and activity because it's our main task as engineer understand what we can put to workflow and what we can put to activity. And next, yes, of course, I will show demo. I will try at least, hope no technical issue for today. And let's start with problem statement. And let's start laser pointer. We all know about all those challenges as software engineers. And we want to deal with business requirements. I just want to write code for ordering, for fraud check, like anti-money laundering, uh, check do we have on prepared stuff to ship, process payment, however, I need to deal with error handling. It's my responsibility failure recovery. Some application may save state. It's not a stateful application. We need to talk to databases, SQL databases, NoSQL databases, so we can expect transactions. It's our responsibility to make everything reliable. We can expect some different events. Sometimes we need to use timeouts, like we send request, no answer. We cannot send request immediately because it will looks like the DOS. That's why we need to wait 1 second. Send request, no result, wait 3 seconds. Send result, no answer, wait 5 seconds. Send request. So timeouts is also our responsibility. Rate limiting. We don't want to execute payment to time, yep, for our clients. So rate limit for payment API, it's only once, and more and more. And as a result, we can expect complexity because we want to deal with business requirements, but we need to deal with all these additional responsibilities as software engineer. However, we can use Temporal. Temporal will help with all these challenges, and we can expect as a result resiliency. And I will use this word today because for me, resiliency is likelihood, a resource ability to recover from damage or disruption. So ability to recover from damage. However, raise your hand if you're working or worked as site reliability engineer, site reliability engineer, 1, 2, 3 people. In this case, maybe you will use word reliability. But for me, reliability is likelihood that resource will work as designed. Will work as designed. But resiliency, it's recover from damage. That's why I named this topic Bulletproof workflows. Recover from damage. Let's introduce Temporal. So first great news, Temporal is open source. We all love open source. Next, it's distributed. Yes, of course, for today, demo purpose, we will use dev cluster, dev environment on my local machine. In production, we use distributed temporal cluster. It's mean multiple machines, multiple workers. It's scalable, so it can process, can be responsible for one process or can be responsible for millions or even billions processes. And it's a workflow orchestration platform. So I will talk about orchestration, not choreography. Choreography is something not for today. And we want to execute mission critical businesses. So it's not about web scrap YouTube or web scrap LinkedIn job posts. And we care about resiliency here. Execute mission critical business logic with resilience. And this example for business critical, for example, payment with Stripe or American Express or delivery shipment to our client. Here we need to resiliency and for us it's mission critical. And temporal, it's about guarantee of execution. And temporal name it temporal durable execution. So it's bulletproof execution. And it's more about long-term process. So we have long-term business process like ordering, anti-money laundering, payment, shipment. It's time-consuming. It can be even weeks from start order from our client to finish whole process, whole order with our clients. And during this time, we need to keep state of our business process. It can be dispute from the client later. So this process can be even years. If you sell shoes in Poland, for example, because in Poland it's 2-year guarantee for your shoes. If in Lithuania it's not the same, please visit Poland to purchase sneakers. And Python SDK. That's why I'm talking today about Temporal, because we can use Python SDK and we can write our workflows in Python, not in XML, YAML, any other DSL domain-specific language. In pure Python, we can write everything. And it's used by big names: Netflix, Airbnb, Stripe, Snap, HashiCorp, Box. Probably you know some of these companies. And you can rely on community of Temporal. If you knew or if you experienced but faced issue with this solution, you can talk to community and you can expect answers from community. That's why again I'm talking today about Temporal. And history, maybe not the sexiest slide, but we need to understand history. So first founder of Temporal started his career in Amazon and AWS in 2002. So it's Amazon, not AWS. And Amazon worked on idea how we can decouple our monolith to different microservices. So it's like 23 years ago. And they delivered in 2004 simply queue service, Amazon SQS. And this one is really simple queue service. Next, from 2000, next second co-founder Samar Abbas, together with first co-founder, worked on AWS, Amazon together and deliver a simple workflow service, Amazon SWF. And believe me, it's absolutely not simple. Please just use Airflow if you're looking for something simple. SWF, it's not simple. And next summer, Abbas worked for Microsoft, and Microsoft delivered Azure durable functions, like guarantee or execution. And Azure durable function, its feature of Azure function, like AWS Lambda, lets us write stateful function in serverless environment. So Lambda function, it's stateless. However, Azure durable function, it's stateful. And next, both together worked in Uber and delivery Uber Cadence in 2015. And finally, 2019, both founded Temporal company and core product Temporal Workflow Manager solution. So in practice, it's two people from Amazon, Microsoft, next Uber, created great product. And also I'm trying to understand evolution of this solution. type of solution, workflow orchestrator, because yesterday during SIP and talk we discussed temporal, and somebody proposed idea maybe temporal is like airflow. So I will try to explain why for me temporal is temporal, airflow is airflow, and when we need to use temporal and when we need to use airflow. So I believe everything started as business process model and notation, BPMN, and two products, it's Camunda and Camunda Zibi. And let's check how it works because it's still this product still exists. So we can use this nice drag and drop solution to prepare our business process, and we will receive XML, non-human readable. Doesn't matter, JSON, XML, YAML. It's not for us, not for people, not for engineers. That's why during the next iteration, for example, Netflix with Netflix Conductor used domain-specific language to help us prepare workflows. And it was great idea, but still in documentation of Conductor, you can see you can use Python. Wow, great. However, alternatively, creating workflows in JSON. So behind, we still have this JSON or YAML or another domain-specific language. That's why in third iteration, we can see solutions like Uber Cadence or Temporal built by the same people with programming languages like Go, JavaScript, Python. However, we can even expect and see next level, and next level is low code. For example, Retool, a popular solution. But let's check quickly this one, Windmill solution. And here you can see different components. So Temporal, it's workflow orchestration manager. You cannot find auto-generated user interfaces in Temporal. It's concrete production solution. However, this one with custom user interfaces, auto-generated user interfaces, for me it looks like Adobe Dreamweaver. But now, raise your hand if you worked with Adobe Dreamweaver. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, four people. So it's not about resiliency. It's not reliable. You can do something. It looks like web page, but nobody care. Like Google don't care about your web page created in Adobe Dreamweaver, and on average it looks extremely bad, and user experience extremely bad. And the same with this type of solution, low-code solution, at least as of now. I believe in the future we can expect much better auto-generated user interfaces in solutions like Windmill or Retool. Because today we are talking about mission critical business logic, we will not talk about this low-code solution. We will focus on something durable, bulletproof, like Temporal. And now let's quickly remind temporal use cases. First of all, it's business process automation. For example, client lifecycle, and companies like DoorDash use temporal for client lifecycle and order processing. For payments, and Stripe using temporal for payments. Microservice orchestration, infrastructure provisioning. Raise your hand if you're familiar with HashiCorp Terraform. Yep, a lot of people in the room. And because HashiCorp Terraform deal with dependencies of one resource to another resource, and also deal with rollback, yep, we need to use some orchestration platform. And Terraform use Temporal. That's why, again, I'm talking today about Temporal. Or, for example, CI/CD, data and machine learning pipelines. And for me personally, I believe we should use Apache Airflow or Prefect to deal with data and machine learning pipelines, or Luigi, for example, because it's dedicated, and we have a lot of great components, easy to reuse when we deal with databases, for example, when we deal with data transformation processing. But in Temporal, we don't have these libraries from community. In Airflow, we have everything ready to use. but it's only my personal point of view. And engine for low code, no code, like Retool I'm presented a few minutes ago. Uh, Timekeeper helped me to delivery in this area. Who was first? You was first? Or I believe this side. Sorry, but but no worries. Uh, And now still I need at least 9 minutes of your attention more. We will talk about temporal architecture. We can see our Python application, this side, and we can talk to temporal cluster. We can use CLI, command line interface, and talk to temporal. Or we can use web user interface and talk to temporal cluster. But in practice, we all time talking to front-end service of temporal cluster. It means we cannot talk to backend, and yes, of course, we cannot talk to database. Three-layer architecture from temporal. And the role of this temporal cluster, manage, track tasks related to temporal workflows and activities. And we will talk in a moment about workflows and activities. And maintain durably persist event history. And it's mean on production, we should use databases like PostgreSQL, MySQL, Cassandra to store all this event history, because in situation of crash of server, like one of a temporal service, we want to continue our process, for example, ordering shipment from this some moment in past. And this one also important. Our cluster does not run our Python application code and even don't have access to our Python application code. That's why you can see this line. And it means it's our responsibility to create and maintain workers and maintain our Python application. So temporal, it's only workflow orchestrator responsible for event history. Our worker responsible to execute our job and to communicate with cluster. So we need to remember this one. Worker execute our code. Temporal cluster manages tasks and history. And that's why we need Apache Cassandra, PostgreSQL, MySQL here. So role of temporal worker execution, temporal workflows and activities, we will talk in the moment. And polls for task communicate status via internet. Today we use local machine for demo, I hope. That's why there is no problem with network. And we have temporal Python SDK, and it's our responsibility as engineers to prepare worker and to maintain worker. And ideally, it should be multiple workers, distributed platform. And at this moment, it's a good idea to talk about temporal cloud. So it's fully managed cloud service. We can use free open source and do whatever we want, but we need to maintain temporal cluster workers and our Python application, or we can deliver responsibility to maintain temporal cluster to temporal company, and we can use temporal cloud. However, workers, it's still our responsibility, because temporal don't want to execute your code and don't want to have access to your code. Super security feature. And now quickly about temporal workflow and activity. As software engineers, we have business requirements, and it's our responsibility to transform those business requirements to workflows or activities. Only two options, workflow, activity. And for example, 2 plus 2, this job we need to deliver it to temporal workflow. But randomizer randomly select number from 1 to 10, this one for activity. And you should ask now why. That's why. Workflow must be deterministic. It means for the same input output should be all time the same. And like 2 plus 2 equal 4, it all time the same. However, randomizer, no. But no worries, Temporal prepared for us temporal randomizer. When we need to deal with randomizer, we need to use temporal randomizer and we need to use temporal activity. Or for example, calling microservice, because we can expect possible failure. That's why we need to use activity. Or querying database, because another user may delete database record or change. That's why we cannot guarantee for the same input, the same output. We need to use activity. Or writing to the file. Again, because virus or another user can do something with our file. That's why we cannot guarantee for the same input, the same output. We need to use activity. But no worries, we have solutions for all these cases when we work with activity. And in practice, majority of work, we will deal with activity, not with workflow. However, activity is part of workflow. If you want to learn more about Temporal, I can recommend this one, 101 course, and this one, Exploring Durable Execution with Python. And that's all. And yes, of course, it's absolutely free to use and to educate yourself. And now we still have like 3 minutes for the demo. That's why I need to open a browser and change screen like this one. I believe you can see. And on my slides, you will find link to demo, this one. And it's absolutely self-paced demo. So after conference or today after socializing, you can just navigate with this documentation. It's not so long. And I prepared for you 2 great options. You just need to click here to see we can use local development environment, or we can use Gitpod, browser-based environment. So you just need to have browser, and that's all, and you will play with Temporal. We need to install Temporal CLI, and we need to install SDK, and in our case, it's Python SDK. Next, we will use, let's increase a little bit, I believe. Next, we will use server, and we will start dev. It means local temporal server and in-memory database. On production, we will use MySQL, PostgreSQL, Cassandra, but for this demo, we will use in-memory database. Next, we need to start worker, and we need to execute our workflow. And we will see a result for our execution. I will show files in the moment. And this looks like Airflow, for example. We have our workflow, and we can see executions. Next one, image, like this one. We can see input, and we can see result of this execution. And you can expect multiple execution. And second option, it's for Gitpod. And let's quickly move back 2 slides. Yep, it even works. If you need to contact me, please use this slide. Because I'm Ukrainian, we are in Lithuania. Please consider to support Ukraine. I can recommend Come Back Alive Foundation. You can support Army directly. And slides, yes, of course. Now you can use your mobile phones to take a screenshot, or you can use tinyurl.com, PyCon LT, uppercase 3, because it's my 3rd presentation. Please visit my 4th presentation about Python, investing, trading, etc. After this talk, exactly after this talk in 5 minutes. Many thanks.
Thank you.